my work that is titled Wellbeing and Academic Resilience. And something that makes me feel even better and increase my resilience, especially when I have lots of things to do, is chocolate. So even for you to remember our island Malta with a sweet memory, I got you a chocolate that not to interrupt during other people's presentations. I'm going to pass it on, and you can pass on and take some chocolates from Malta. And you can pass on. And you can here in the auditorium, we cannot eat food and drink. So, my work, this work started earlier on. Can you hear me well?
Yes, loud and clear.
I teach in a post-secondary school in Malta, so my country has already been introduced by my colleague, Dr. Zabit over here. And our ages are from 16 years and above. 17, 18, and sometimes we have even older students. I have been teaching for 25 years, and every year we are noticing that the level of well-being is decreasing. But this I had to look it up, and even as from the 2008, it was found that from amongst a lot of countries in Europe and also America, Maltese students have been found to be the most pressured with studies. But moving forward, I had to conduct more research to see what is being said about students, and I was interested in adolescents from 15 years and over. And research is showing that we don't have really very good numbers or research or findings to be proud of, because they are experiencing well-being related issues. Adolescents, this is from the National Statistics Office of Malta, is showing that 74.5% of our adolescents say that their overall life satisfaction is not very good. And looking at these amazing young people, all right, in the best years of their life, 16, 17, 18 years old, you see a beautiful young lady or a handsome young gentleman, you know, and knowing that they are suffering or they cannot deal well with their lives because of well-being issues, it's something that, for me, it breaks my heart. Apart from being an educator, I am also a mother of a 16-year-old son who is going to be 17 tomorrow, and they are joining me tomorrow. My husband sent him here, and we're celebrating his birthday together. So I can see my students from the lens of a teacher, educator, but also from the lens of a mother. There is a very, very good entity in Malta who is working really hard for well-being, the National Foundation, and again, this is 2022, almost 3 years ago now, that they are saying that 70% of our teenagers, they have reported feelings of anxiety, sadness, and depression. And I also see from my students other issues like eating disorders or other difficulties. Another study that hit me hard is this, that was done last year by 2 academics. I teach A-level biology, so we prepare students for medicine and health-related professions, and these 2 researchers found that 8% of the students of the Medical and Pharmacy Institute, they said that they mentioned thinking of committing suicide. And this is really, you know, where can you arrive worse than thinking about suicide? Because of the stress, academic stress. So, not because there are other things, because of academic stress. And this drove me to analyze the well-being of our students. I work in a state post-secondary school, one of the biggest in Malta, and we have more than 1,000 students. So I wanted the perspectives of the students themselves to see what they understand by the term well-being, because the term is very subjective. What makes me feel good, it may be something that for another person it doesn't make him feel good. For example, I enjoy coming to conferences, and presenting, but there can be someone else who they say, no, of course not, I don't want to go on stage, So it's very subjective. And there was this gap that in Malta there has not been a study like this in post-secondary schools. I took the theoretical framework of Bradburn, that says well-being is the sum total of the positive factors that generate positive emotions in a person and the negative factors that generate negative emotions. So the balance of them results in the well-being of the person. And when I was doing the research, qualitative research with the students, the top two factors that generate the negative emotions, hence lowering the well-being, are the workload and the deadlines. Later on, when I started doing the continuous professional development sessions with educators, I found that these, even in us adults, they lower our well-being. So, this led me to another study, because in the first study, I asked the students, what would you recommend or propose the school to do to implement a strategy to foster greater well-being? And the top two recommendations were reduce our workloads, less homeworks, less tests, and the deadlines. And like that we will have a breath of fresh air. But on doing my study, I was even more worried, because number one, I asked them for suggestions and I didn't go back from my word to implement something that they didn't. But on number two, I was saying, we are preparing these students for university level, where my colleague works, Dr. Josephine. And, as we proceed, no matter what you are, if you are a student or whatever, you are always going to face workloads and deadlines. Even sometimes being a housewife at home, I don't know about you, but me, if I'm staying at home, I always have things to do, and washing and cleaning and doing this and doing that, especially being a mother. So, let alone being a housewife, and then you have the full-time job, and then you have other things. I am studying in the meantime, I'm doing my doctorate. So, in life, we are always faced with workloads and deadlines, and I was saying, we would like to do something to prepare our students to be more efficient, like to reframe our cognition, our perception of these two that are not inherently negative. It's the perception. This is because the term well-being is subjective, how we perceive the situation. How can we try to reframe this perception to make it not as negative, that mitigates our well-being? Can we do something to increase academic resilience? And here, I wanted to see why students were seeing workloads and deadlines as very demanding, as very decreasing their well-being. This is a typical timetable of a student in our school. A student who takes biology and chemistry as A-levels, and then 3 other subjects. They have to take them, no less, intermediate, and compulsory subject systems of knowledge. So, they have their days pretty full with different lectures. Very, very few free lessons. So, here 3, and 3. Only 3 or 4 per week free lessons. And then they go home, they have homework, they have apart from that, they have, 2 A-levels, 3 intermediate, compulsory, the curriculum is predominantly theoretical, only practical sessions, 2 hours a week if you have biology or if you have chemistry. They have 14 different teachers. per week. So 14 different homeworks or tasks or projects to do weekly. And then systems of knowledge, they have to do a minimum of 20 hours voluntary work plus a project. So the research questions are, what do students and educators identify as the necessary skills that students should develop to effectively manage academic pressure such as workloads and deadlines? And what actionable recommendations can be made for educators and the school leaders to create supportive educational environment that fosters resilience and equips students with the skills and mindset needed in post-secondary education and beyond? And here I took this theoretical framework by Lazarus and Folkman's transactional theory of stress and coping that says that the primary appraisal process allows the students to assess whether academic challenges such as workloads and deadlines are threatening their well-being. And then the secondary appraisal enables them to evaluate their ability to manage these demands. So, from the literature review, resilience in education is defined as the student's ability to adapt and overcome challenges, setbacks and stressors in academic context while maintaining their well-being and achieving their goals. Later on in life, if these students are going to be medical doctors or whatever, they have to be resilient, they have to be very good at mitigating these stressors, to have a workload and to keep well, and to deal with all these stressors and keep on going. Practical strategies informed by metacognition, and I have a background in neuroscience, neuroplasticity, so these, I always feel I'm a little bit biased that they can help. Metacognition is thinking about the way we think. Why am I thinking so? What is making me thinking so? Can I change the way that I'm thinking so that it can help me? Neuroplasticity research reveals that each new skill, memory, or challenge reinforces the neuronal pathways associated with resilience, problem solving, and critical thinking. Educators who incorporate insights from neuroplasticity into their teaching can help students perceive academic challenges such as workload and deadlines as opportunities for cognitive growth rather than stress-inducing obstacles. And our students at these ages, they really like playing video games, and sometimes a video game is quite challenging, and you lose, but you persist. Yes, I want to win level 1, and a lot of work, but you are determined to win level 1. And after you win, yes, I won, and it had been, a very difficult road to win. But then, once you win, after a lot of work, you say, Illa, I want to start level 2, even though it's even harder. But, so this is like, why aren't we using this thinking method to the workloads and deadlines in our work life, in our studying? So we can get even better and we say, alright, I have a lot of things to do today, I managed to do them, yes. What's tomorrow? So, by teaching students that overcoming difficulties strengthens the brain function, educators can inspire a shift in mindset, encouraging students to embrace challenges as essential components in their personal and academic development. Reflective practices, when we reflect about what we're doing, why am I thinking what I'm thinking? Why am I feeling what I'm feeling? Encourage students to analyze their thought process, identify the challenges, and devise personalized coping skills. How can I do better? How can I make this workload or this deadline not decreasing my well-being? Goal setting is very, very important, and self-monitoring techniques which align with the reinforce planning, self-regulation skills, and these help students stay focused and adaptable to adapt according to the situation. And also mindfulness training is very important. I'm going to go a little bit quicker. I carried on a qualitative research. I took the interpretivist approach and inductive approach, and I interviewed 12 educators, 12 students, and ultimately I did 2 focus groups because I believe that when we are together and we speak and discuss, other things come up and we reinforce a common thing that we believe in. I took the compulsory imperative something because I knew I could identify teachers and students who can, contribute really well to what I was looking for. I took all the permissions necessary. Then I conducted thematic analysis, and these are the findings. So, the first research question was, what do students and educators identify as the necessary skills that students should develop to effectively manage academic pressure, such as workload and deadlines? And the 2 main common themes were problem-solving strategies and emotional focus strategies. So, top number 1, time management. To be effective with workload, time management. Problem-solving skills. I have a problem. Do I know from where I can find help? It could be resources, it could be other people, it could be, okay? And adaptability. How can I adapt myself? My life, what I'm doing, my practices, the approaches, the way I think. I have to adapt. And then self-efficacy, like I really enjoyed listening to earlier on in some of the on the emotional side, emotional regulation, intelligence, cognitive reframing, very important, growth mindset, and mindfulness. So, regarding what we recommend, these were even came out more in the focus groups where we worked together to define. So now, what we need to do? What can we do tangibly? With it smart and propose this. Every teacher, because everyone teaches different things and we tend to come to school, I have to teach biology, and that's it, and chemistry. No, everyone. What can everyone do? Encourage reflective practices. Encouraging the students to engage in reflection through journals or discussion prompts allows them to consider their thought process, identify the areas of difficulty, and develop personalized strategies to overcome obstacles. Number 2, goal setting and self-monitoring. Teaching students to set achievable goals, like when we are doing the CSF or KPIs in industry, okay? Monitor the progress, as someone before me said, and adjust the strategies that can foster a sense of accomplishment. Yes, I got it. Now, on to the next part. And reduce the stress. This practice aligns with neuroplasticity, as repeated engagement in goal setting strengthens neuronal pathways involved in planning and self-regulation. Proposal number 3, mindfulness training. So, mindfulness has been shown to enhance metacognitive awareness by increasing attention and emotional regulation, which are crucial for effective learning and mental health. Introducing brief mindfulness exercises before classes can improve the focus and reduce anxiety, preparing the students to engage more fully with academic content. The 4th one out of 5, engaging students in group activities, group work, group projects, promote social dimension of metacognition, where they can observe and discuss diverse thinking skills. Look, she is thinking in this way, how good that thinking mode is, This is not only enhances problem-solving skills, but also reinforces the neuronal networks involved in empathy, in collaboration, and adaptability. And the last one, self-regulated learning intervention. Programs that explicitly teach self-regulation, and I also add self-discipline. That can empower students to manage time effectively, to plan their studies, to address setbacks constructively. As these science practices become habits, they reinforce resilience and promote lifelong learning. So, of course, there are some limitations. I would want to do it qualitative and quantitative, so to get better understanding and to explore other things like digital interventions to see if they work, and also see some of these proposals being implemented and see the before and after to see if there was any amelioration. So, thank you. This is all. I'm sorry I was very fast. Any questions?
Just a comment. I mean, fascinating study. There is so much research coming out lately on in this area, especially around your recommendation number 4 about collaborative learning. There is increased focus on project-based learning and game-based learning these days, so that students are not feeling isolated. Post-COVID, what we are seeing that increasingly people are being, in their silo, right? Working, on themselves. So, if these kinds of interventions we apply, or the strategies that we apply, that way students are not feeling isolated and don't fall behind in their, academic endeavors.
Excellent. I really agree with you, and from what I'm finding when I go and do these continuous professional development with educators, there are so many ideas, and while we speak and discuss, everyone is encouraged and enthusiastic to try these new things, So, teacher training is very important. And I always say something. If we want something to be successful, it's important to always be grateful to each other, to every single person in education who are doing their best in trying to make the lives of our students and young people better. So, yes, I really agree with what you told me. Thank you very much, everyone.